All right, you guys, for this haircut, we're going to be doing something pretty simple. It's going to be kind of like a gentleman's cut. It's going to be pretty dark, like a 2 or 3 on the sides. Nice comb over with a natural parting. Just something simple for my client to be able to kind of get up and, style his hair fairly easy and go ahead. He hasn't been to me in a while. As you guys can see, his hair is pretty long. So we are going to start with basically recreating this entire haircut. So as you saw, I saturated the hair fully, and then I created a horseshoe section to just separate the top from what's on the side. And now right here, I am just grabbing small sections all along his parietal ridge, and I'm pulling that hair straight out and cutting it. Now what's cool about this is because I am pulling all of this hair straight out, everything above my fingers is not going to be touched with the clipper. Everything below where I'm cutting is what's going to get cut off with the clipper. So I will have a clean division basically between my scissor work and my clipper work. And then the trick to this haircut will be getting that to blend in. But this is a great technique if you want to be able to control the shape of a client's haircut. So for example, everybody's head is pretty much round, but in order to give someone a strong kind of masculine shape, you want to give them a square shape. And this is the way you do that. You pull all that hair out and cut, and whatever is underneath gets knocked off with the clipper. Fairly simple stuff. But if you can grasp this concept right here, you'll be able to do a lot of different haircuts. Because what you're doing is you're setting the highest length for the sides. So the highest basically guard you're gonna fade into, you're setting that length. But then you're also setting the length that the top is gonna blend into. And you guys will see that in a second. Now here, what I did, like I said, this client wants basically a comb over. So I asked him, we had it pinned up in a horseshoe parting. I asked him what side he wanted his hair to comb over to. He said to the right. So I'm pulling all of that hair down to the right and matching it to the line on that side that I just created. And again, I've talked about this before, you guys. I call this the box method. So imagine a box on top of your client's head, and you are gonna pull the hair to each side of that box, or for whatever is appropriate to create that haircut. So on this side, we pulled all that hair to the side of the box. Now I'm pulling all of the hair straight up to the top of the box and cutting it square off. I'm not leaving it longer on the side closest to the part. I'm squaring everything off, taking sections from the back about the width of my comb, maybe an inch. And you can see right there, when I pull the hair up, the hair closest to my fingertip is really short. And that's because that is the hair that we pulled over and cut when we brought everything to the side. So from there, I just follow that as a guide straight across, as if I'm bringing all his hair to the top of the box. Now right here, I'm point cutting. You don't necessarily have to do this, but I was trying to give my client a little bit of added texture. So you see we found the short hair, and then from there everything gets cut straight across. This is a very easy way to create a comb over. Pull everything to the side and cut, then pull everything straight up and cut. Now my client's hair is extremely thick, so to be honest with you, this technique right here, it was kind of pointless to use on him. Now that I'm sitting back and watching this over like it's like game tape or something, I'm realizing this was kind of a pointless technique to use, because at the end, after I dry his hair, I go back through with thinning shears and thin out the top. So all the work I did point cutting was basically, negated by the thinning shear. So really, you don't have to point cut like this. You could just cut straight across, but the principle remains the same. So right here, I'm gonna speed through this part because this is fairly simple. I'm not really doing a fade. It's all pretty much gonna be dark. So I am blending into the scissor work that we did with my number 3 guard. And you can see right there is that ridge that we created. And then below that, I will follow up with the number 2, blending right into the 3. That way, it'll be, not too light. We'll still keep it that gentleman vibe with the darker sides and, square in the back and everything like that. But he also does bring it in a little bit tighter so it's not so fluffy on the sides of his head. Because remember, we're trying to get his round head into a square shape. So we need it tight on the sides and the bulk that we created up top to create that squareness. Right here, I think this is just a number 1 real quick, me trying to blend it into his beard. Nothing crazy special. Mainly, the point of this tutorial is for you guys to see how I tackled the top. So yeah, just a light taper in the back for him. And right here, you see that ridge that we created was like super bulky. I didn't realize it was gonna be that bulky. So now I'm coming in with clipper over comb just to clean it up slightly. I still want to keep a lot of the bulk because that'll help keep the squareness, but this is a little bit too much, so now we're knocking it down. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, making sure that everything flows in pretty smooth. Make sure you lift the hair too when you're using clipper over comb. I know some people like to put the comb in and take the hair right from where the comb is at, but be careful because you could end up with a patch a little bit below that if you're not careful. So always make sure you lift the hair so you're not cutting hair that you don't mean to cut. But so far, this is looking pretty good. His cowlick is laying down very nicely. You can see that swirl in the back. And now we're going through with the thinning shears. And I just want to soften a lot of this hair up around the ridge. His hair is so thick, it's crazy. This guy's probably going to have hair for the rest of his life. Now, when you use your thinning shears, you don't want to, if you have a strand of hair, you want to be cutting the end third of that strand. You don't want to be like deep into the hair shaft and then cut it, because you're gonna end up getting so when you think here, again, nothing crazy. This is more of like a gentleman's cut. So he's not going to have, you know, ridiculous C-cup or super, you want it to be a sharp line. And now you'll see here, this is what I want to show you guys. I'm using my and you see I'm just 1, 2, maybe 3 chomps at the ends of the hair. And what you do is that first chomp, the second chomp has to be a little bit above it. And then that last chomp has to be a little bit above that. You don't want all three chomps of the scissor to be in one spot. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3. Right at the ends. Sorry, my shoulder is in the way, you guys, but y'all get the point. I'm just thinning out the ends of the hair, because if I go deep into the hair shaft, I'm gonna give him patches and like real thin spots. You know what I mean? You don't want that. You want all the hair to be universally thinner than what it was before. Now with this client, when it comes to what type of product to use for him, because his hair is so thick, I would recommend something that's gonna give you like a more of a shinier look. It doesn't have to be like a fully wet look, but something that's gonna give it like some shine, but still some hold. So instead of like a clay on his hair, I used a nice pomade, and that joint turned out really, really nice. This is the new Tomb 45 pomade that they have, and that joint turned out beautiful. So you see, I'm just working it all through the hair, top and bottom. Look, I might even get a little bit more pomade. Oh no, here we go. We got the styling comb. And you see how, because the comb has these like big teeth, I can kind of like create the sort of ridges and create the texture in the hair as I'm styling it. So I want to separate that part. I wish I had the camera on the other side so y'all can see. But I want to separate that part and make sure that everything is combed over nicely. Basically, I'm going for like a Superman vibes. You know what I mean? Like nice smooth comb over with a little bit of volume. And with haircuts like these, because they don't take as long, you're just doing the top and then like a 2 or 3 to blend into it, you can spend a little bit more time styling the hair than you normally would, because you have that extra time in the chair. Let's see, look at that. You see how we created that square shape on the side? With the beautiful comb over, slight pompadour action in the front. The cowlick is laying down beautifully. This is a nice cut, y'all.